Stay spoken, stay spoken, stay. Stay spoken, stay spoken, shred.
You've started to record the conversations you have with your father. You think that in doing so, by placing his words in black and white, you will find meaning in them. You've not yet found the meaning, but you've begun to understand what your mother meant when she said sometimes words can be empty. Sometimes you peel the letters off the pages, stick them over your mouth, arranging them into a smile that he would be proud of. You stare at your reflection in the mirror, thinking how you have never been one for fancy dress costumes, but how this mask suits you best. After all, it so closely resembles your father. At night, you lay awake, wondering how many of his I love yous you must write before they come true. You stare at the sky's full moon belly, thinking about how, as a child, your father would blow raspberries on your stomach till hot tears ran down your cheeks, thinking about whether the stars have belly buttons, and if they did, then whether the moon would kiss theirs too. Your mother always rose before the sun did, her skin a soft silhouette slipping out into moonlight. Even at this time, she was a hurricane, back bent with too many burdens for one woman to carry, yet still she carried herself with grace, took up space like she was a woman, not just a white man's property. So you remember being 12, staring at the walls of a room that was not yours, thinking, is this what heaven looks like? Large, clean, white. On the landing, they always told you that you were a sinner, that heaven and houses were no place for people like you. You never really understood what they meant. The people like you were just people, born into the hue of skin that turned white man against them, that turned women into hurricanes, that turned lucky men into oak trees, and the rest into the strange fruit that were hanged on them. So you remember thinking this when he walked into the room and turned the air the kind of heavy that bends mothers' backs at daybreak. He placed a finger to his lips, as though assuming you knew what was to ensue, but you were only 12. So when he placed his hands between your thighs, you did not run. You did not scream. You did not turn into a hurricane and rain down a storm on his body. You stayed silent, staring up at the walls of a room that was not yours, thinking, is this what heaven looks like? Large, clean, white. That night, you cried to the same melody your mother did when they sold your father. You used to wonder why she did not slit their throats when they took him, but now you understood how they controlled her, how the heavy weight she burdened on her shoulder was just another way to get by, a way to survive with what she had left, because she still had to take care of what she had left, so you thought it best not to tell her. Better to carry the burden yourself. Besides, your body was still an empty carriage. You were still just a slow, heavy rain. You still had a long way to go before you learned how to be a hurricane.